What's up, people? This is your boy Levelhead back with another one. This is the Live and Level Gamers podcast. We're starting super late, and we won't be on here super long because a few of the guys just did not show up. I don't know what's going on. Might be a mix-up in communication, but I do have a guest that I was planning on having on tonight. We're going to talk for a few minutes, then we're going to get out of here. So go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's going on, everybody? Man, this is Keith Norris. If you look at my name on there, it says my uncle's nephew, and that's my gamer tag on pretty much everything. And man, I just appreciate being on the podcast, man.
I'm happy to have you, man. We've been building in the comment section every now and again, going back and forth, having good conversation. And I was vibing with how you was coming at me and what the things you were saying. I was like, man, I think I want to get this dude on the podcast to see if what I'm getting in this comment section is what I'm going to get live, and it's actually is even better because you got to be real well spoken, talking to you behind the scenes and get you on live, man. I'm thinking I might try to make you a permanent fixture on the show, man. I'm really vibing with you.
Well, I appreciate it.
So if you're interested, man, this might be a voice that y'all hear regularly with D2K, Jedi Knight, John Shaw, K-Bump 20, and myself. So we ain't here to talk long because, like I said, nobody showed up. I'm going to have to figure out what happened. John Shaw called me earlier and said, was we having it? But nobody showed up. But anyway, what you been gaming on, man?
Man, okay. So, really, I just been, let's see, I finished Gears of War like 2 weeks ago. I thought it was all right. Then I tried to play the little horde mode. I can see how people can really get into that because I was playing with a few people, man. They was taking too long to revive me every time I went down, but that's another topic. But that's pretty fun. And then I tried to see if people were still playing Battlefield 4 since the new Battlefield 1 came out. And I got online and I was like, man, it's still a huge community. Oh, hold up. Let me say this. So I'm on PC and Wii U just for reference, so people know what I'm playing on. But I play on PC and the Wii U, and that's pretty much what I've been gaming on, man.
Yeah, you basically playing on the same game. I ain't beat it yet. That's why I was hoping you didn't go into any details because I think I'm well, since you beat it, I'm right where we saved a certain person from that got captured. We went into the belly of the beast to get him out the belly. You know what I'm saying? So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we've come back to the top, and I think we're heading to another spot. And I got a set of twins, man. So I'll be trying to be upstairs with my wife, so I don't detach from her in my man cave. So what I did was I brought my PlayStation 4 down here with my Wii U and took my Xbox One upstairs. But my twins are scared of the game. So every time I turn it on, one of my babies just starts screaming, holler. As soon as she sees the logo, she just goes nuts. So I can't play it. So for the last week and a half, for the last week, I haven't been able to play it, but like for about 30 minutes, and she couldn't take it. So I had to turn it off. So they stay up too long, and I end up going to sleep anyway. So, but I'm stuck right there, man. But I'm enjoying it. I can tell that I'm about to get to the end. I think I might be maybe a few hours from the end, the conclusion. But I've been enjoying it, man. I definitely enjoy the graphics. I like the switch up in some of the enemies they throw at you, like the robot cats or I don't know what you call them, robots or droids or whatever they are.
I was gonna say they drones, but I think I just call them.
Yeah, they drones. Yeah, that's to be the perfect way to describe them, drones. I don't know if I'm feeling it's one aspect I don't like about it is I like the AI, but I don't like the AI at the same time. Like, I remember Gears AI being a little bit less predictable than this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
I think they're definitely smarter. They definitely use like flanking, and I like how they rush you. Like, they won't stay in one spot. They literally rush in and try to, use the Lancer on you or flush you out. I do like that, but then in certain aspects, it's like either it's glitchy or it ain't as the latency or something is off to where I notice I'm missing. I'm right there in front of them, and I'm steady missing them with the shotgun. Where in old Gears were, that wasn't no miss, but on this one I'm missing, and it ain't because I'm not accurate. It's because something is a little off with the aiming or something, and then I don't kind of like. Some of their movements is weird. I don't know if it's glitching or if they just outsmart me. I don't know. But it don't feel as fluid as I would say 1 and 2 and 3 were. I'd love to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what difficulty you playing on.
I'm on regular. I try to. I think I'm on. I think I'm a notch above regular.
Okay. I played it on the what is it? Hardcore, I think that's what it's called.
No, I ain't doing that. I ain't ready.
Well, here's the thing. What's funny is this is my first time ever going through a whole Gears of War. I
Okay.
played a little bit of 3. I thought about going and play Ultimate, but this Gears of War 4, man, on a technical level, they really did it, man. Who was it? Coalition. This is like, and you probably heard other people say this before, but they really put their foot into the technical aspects of this game. Like they future-proofed it. Like I was playing with the resolution thing or whatever, and man, you can go beyond 4K. And I was like, man, they really future-proofed this game.
So you playing it on the PC?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, dive into that because I'm on the Xbox One. So when you said 4K and all that, I was like, no, I ain't experienced that.
Well, I don't have a 4K monitor, but I got a 1080p monitor. I just like playing games 1080p 60, but like I said, like most PC games, especially with the Windows Store, they're not that good. Like I was having trouble with Forza. That's another game I've been playing, but I don't really play it. I just play it every now and again. Like that game gave me issues. I tried to play the demo Recore, and it wouldn't even boot up. So with this Gears of War 4, man, I downloaded it easy, turned it on, everything came on. So as far as from a PC standpoint, this is a pretty good game.
Okay.
As far as the actual game, and I won't go into any details since you're still playing it, it gets a little repetitive to me.
Yeah, I'm already noticing that. Yeah, you're right.
Like early on, I was like, okay, man, throw something else at me, like duck, shoot, and it's cool. That's the gameplay of Gears of War. But man, I was like, ugh.
I even noticed that the set pieces where you like
before you get into the room.
Yeah, like dude, I was so sick of this scenery. Like the flesh, the part where you got the pods, or I don't know what you would call the little things that they laid out that they have the humanoids or whatever you would call them inside of these little fleshly pods. And for a good portion of the game, that's all it was that pinkish red fleshly membrane looking sewage stuff all around the place. And it was like, y'all could have did a little bit more with the settings. It's graphical, don't get me wrong, the graphics is hit, but it ain't as creative and imaginative as other Gears have been. Like, so I'm interested now that I'm out of that, and I was down in there for a while. Now that I'm out of that and I'm going to wherever we going, like we climbed up. I know you probably remember this part. You climb up. I don't want to reveal too much because I don't know who played it. They might be like, you spoiling stuff. But when you go into, they got the big faces, if you know what I'm talking about.
Big faces.
And you go up, we had to climb up, and then we came down. You had to use a special way to get down because the shaft broke.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit after that. And like little parts like that look great, but when you actually get into the environments that you're running around the corridors, like I said, there's a lot of the same. Like you said, it's repetitive. The gameplay is very repetitive, and I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So if you said it don't really switch up, then that's gonna hurt me.
Well, I'll let you know this. It switched up at the end. At the very end, you finally get your switch. And
okay,
that's about it.
Okay,
but
what else you been gaming on?
Besides that, the Battlefield I mentioned, Forza. they got to do something about that game. Just from a PC aspect, man, I could turn that game all the way on low settings and still only get 30 frames per second.
Uh,
Turn it on high. You can even manipulate it to what is it? What do you do when you downsample? You can downsample 4K and still only get 30 frames a second. There's something going on with the code in that game where it's real glitchy.
okay.
And there's an area. Do you have Forza?
No, I'm not really. I'm not really into Forza. Like
No.
art racers, like simulation racers. I'm really not into 'em. I like more arcadey style racing games. So
You know what really drew me to this game was the fact that it was open world.
okay,
So, because I'm with you. Like if you just make me race after race after race after race, no, I'm good. I ain't trying
yeah,
to.
I played the demo of Forza, and I've also played Gran Turismo, and I like the of course the graphics will get you. It's back in the day with Gran Turismo and now with Forza. The graphics will get you. I just got tired of the maintenance and the having to change the tires and having to go buy this and get stuff repaired and upgrade. And after a while, I just got too involved. And I was like, man, I just want to race. I just want to hit some turbos. I want to ramp off some stuff. And so I realized that I ain't much into the simulation more so than just a fun arcade, pedal to the metal, don't have to brake much, ain't worrying about turning the corners realistically, just having a good time. But to me, Forza and Gran Turismo and games like that really don't afford you that type of experience. I say Forza does a little bit, depending on which Forza title you get, because one of them is actually a little bit more arcadey than simulation. But I would much rather play stuff like Need for Speed, like or Mario Kart, or some of them old school games like Cruising USA. Those type of games. I'm an F-Zero and Wave Race. Like I'm into that type of stuff where it's just you and a computer or you and another person going at it and having a good time. When it comes to races, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
They need to go and bring that Cruising USA back.
Yeah, they definitely do.
I mean, just think cruising all over the USA. I mean, you can pretty much do that in what's that game that came out? The Crew, that Ubisoft game.
Yeah, I haven't played that.
But I think they try to do too much. They try to add that drama story and man, I'm not trying to do all that. I'm just trying to race with my friends, man.
Okay. So let me explain this with the listeners, man. We had a podcast planned, but as you see, it's just me and Mr. Keith here, Keith Norris, and so we just chopping it up because we didn't want to waste the time. But we was going to talk about Trump and the win, but I will ask him a few of his opinions on this election. I don't want to bore y'all to death because I really would rather have the whole cast here to kind of talk about that. And then he had a topic that I thought was interesting, and we would bring that up as well. But what do you think about this presidential race, man? What's your thoughts on it?
Man. I think, like we were talking behind the scenes, man, it really exposed the nature of this country.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of how do we say it, other persuasion people, and what's funny is a lot of them voted for Trump, but they really didn't care for him.
But
they really didn't care for Hillary either.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah, I'm noticing, man, like with our, we black men, so I feel like the audience that we cater to on YouTube here in this community, as far as the people that follow me, they know me, they know how I am. I'm a fair-minded person, and I got a lot of friends of all different backgrounds, all different races, and I'm also a God-fearing man, so I have a lot of Christian brothers that are Caucasian and white, different races, but what I'm learning through, because this is very polarizing. This was a very hard, complex, trying, emotional time for America. Like, neither one of these candidates were good.
Nope.
I know a lot of people was walking in the booth holding their nose, picking who they was picking. Like, if you voted for Hillary Clinton, you was holding your nose. if you voted for Donald Trump. I believe wholeheartedly that a lot of people, white and black, were not really happy that they had to choose this guy. But I was having a few conversations with a few of my Caucasian friends, and what I was trying to express to them with the whole vote of Donald Trump is not, this ain't against the Republicans, because I saw a lot of Republicans who are opposed and appalled by the things that Donald Trump was saying. But like, I was trying to get them to understand why me as a black person would have a lot of problems with Donald Trump versus a Hillary Clinton or anybody else, Republican or Democrat. It was literally stuff that he was saying and how freely he was saying it. It was like, you know, you talking as if, like we was talking about how it's saying, you talking as if every black person or every minority is in one small bubble of identity. Like every black person in America is poor and in a criminal infested community with a whole bunch of robbing and shooting and pillaging. I was like, dude, there's a lot of us out here that got good paying jobs, live in good communities, educated, bright, smart, upstanding citizens. So to, you know, those were the things that kind of bothered me about his election. The initial shock, I'm kind of over it, but I was really shocked. I really was, and it did show where we are at as a country, as a nation. His election says a lot, man. It really does, because there had to be a lot of bypassing of a lot of things to choose him and pick him, and a lot of Americans bypassed a lot of those things that they literally know was there to choose him, and we just had to pray and hope and that he turned out to be better than what the campaign that he ran suggested. That's all I can say on it.
Yeah, I at first, when I first heard that Donald Trump was running, and I heard some of the stuff that he was saying, at first I thought he was just doing it for shock value, you know, just trying to shock and be that television star that he is, you know what I'm saying, to try to win the campaign. But one thing that I noticed, and I'm not really into the whole political things or anything like that, but one thing I noticed is that they do the census for like how many blacks voted for Hillary versus how many blacks voted for Trump, and whites, Hispanics, male, female, and they break it all down, which is cool to get that information. But then when they put that information out there to us, it's like, how do we receive it? You know what I'm saying? We look at it like, oh man, 85. I think didn't you say 85% people, white males voted for Trump?
81% of white evangelical males voted for Trump, man.
So it's like now you
crazy.
have that perception in your mind, and when you see a white evangelical guy, you're gonna think, oh man, he supported Trump, he must be racist. And I'm like, man, maybe they should stop putting that information out there, or maybe that's their agenda to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? To keep the separation. You know what I'm saying? Because we really don't even need we don't need to see these numbers. We just need to know that Donald Trump won based on this, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? But trying to separate us, man, I think that is separating us and keeping us separated.
Yeah, that's why I said I've talked to a lot of my friends that are white and Caucasian, and I had to really change, because I you know, like I said, Donald Trump represent a lot to a lot of minorities, and we are minorities, and I know that we have Caucasian white males and females listening to us, and this ain't, we're not here to offend anyone like that. I'm trying to be careful on how I say what I say. It's just Donald Trump was just a hard swallow for a minority, and I would hope that our Caucasian brothers and sisters who listening will step out their shoes for a second and try to understand how it was as a black or Mexican or Muslim or whoever, how that would feel listening to some of the things that Trump would say, and the way that he would say it, like saying, I'm going to kick all the Muslims out and all Mexicans are rapists. Like, these type of things was like, like, we have never seen a presidential candidate, let alone a person that's about to be our president, openly say a lot of these things. And I know this is a gaming podcast, but sometimes it's nice to step away from the game and the escapism of what video games do for you and step into the reality, man. It's a lot going on around us, and with a lot of millennials and young folks who tune into this channel, what I would love for you to do is look at what's going on, look at what is happening, and look in the mirror and say, look, we know we didn't have good choices this time. Neither Hillary nor this man was a good choice. But now it's time to get proactive. Now it's time to get engaged in this process, to where next time we have candidates that not only reflect us, but speak for us, and also reflect a good America, that when we have our president, someone we all can be proud of, that we feel like represent who we are. Because I feel like Donald Trump does not represent that, and I feel like the people who voted for him feel that exact same way. I just feel like they just could not vote for Hillary based on all the stuff that was coming out and the Clintons' legacy, and I think Hillary represent the problems. I think talking to some of my friends who they gave me a different perspective on how to understand why they did what they did. Because I had a different understanding. I'm not going to lie. And I still feel like some of them were running with the rhetoric that he was saying, and that encouraged them to vote. But I feel like a lot of them were saying Hillary represents what's wrong with the White House and the government, and Donald Trump doesn't represent none of that because he is not from any of it. And I would rather put a person who knows nothing and doesn't have any ties to none of them in there, rather than to put a person who we know what we're going to get and we tired of that. That's what I've been hearing. And Bernie Sanders should have been the person who was competing against this man rather than Hillary, but it's all good, man. I'm just praying that our nation heals, that he doesn't turn out to be as bad as many of us fear. And I'm just hoping that things, change and hopefully, I don't know. I'm just hoping for the best, and praying that the worst don't happen. So I know a lot of people ain't comfortable with this, but I'm definitely going to bring this back up when all the fellas is here. You best believe that. But since it's just me and Keith, we gonna move on. So let's get to that topic you was talking about, man. We'll get out of here. You brought up behind the scenes about some cats that you was watching, and some they had stated that you thought was intriguing. I'd like you to go ahead and set that up, and then we can kind of talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. So these guys are predominantly like Xbox, and I wouldn't even really say PlayStation, but predominantly Xbox gamers. And I hear a lot of it's all about the third party. It's all about the third party. That first party games are not as important as the third party. And I just want to know what you think about that. Sorry, my wife distracted me. I don't even know if I got that out right, but
yeah, you got it out right. You stopped abruptly. I didn't know if you was finished. Was you done action, or did you?
That was it. That was it.
Well, going off what you said behind the scenes and then how you actioned it. When it comes to Microsoft and Sony, I would say definitely yes. Third party is more important. There's just not enough there with those two platforms and those two companies to satisfy any gamer's thirst and itch. Like, I love Uncharted. Like, if I just use the PlayStation 4 right now, I love Uncharted. Big fan of Uncharted. I love Last of Us. I love God of War and a plethora of other first-party titles from Sony. But that's just not enough from their first party to satisfy or even justify the purchase of a PlayStation 4. The same with Microsoft. I love Gears of War. I'm a big fan of Gears of War. I realize that I'm really not a fan of Halo. I don't like first-person shooters. I gave Halo 5 a chance. I've gave Halo 3 a chance. And I just don't like Halo. I'm sorry. I don't like Halo. I would say I'm not as big of a fan of Microsoft's first party as I am Sony's. And Microsoft don't have enough first party. I think they got Forza, the Forza franchise, Halo, Gears of War. What else do they have?
Gears of War, Forza.
Halo.
As far as their main games, I think that's about it.
Like maybe one or two other titles they got that's first party. Well, they got Quantum Break that's new IP, which it ain't great. It's a little bored, little snore fest. It's graphical nice, but it's a snore fest. What else I got over? A lot of what I got over there for them two platforms is mainly third party offerings. So definitely third party matters more on those platforms. But reason I thought this was interesting was we got to talking about Nintendo. And there was something that me, D2K, K-Bomb 20, and I think Jedi Knight brought up on this topic the last time we talked about it, that when you brought this back up, it hit my thoughts, is while Nintendo does have great first-party offerings and they have a lot of first-party offerings, they have a lot of the same itch being scratched in the offering, meaning, like I was expressing to you, Mario, 2D Mario games, that like with the Wii U, I kind of scratched my itch with New Super Mario U with the 2D game. Then we got Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Then we got Yoshi Woolly World or whatever that game is called. Then we got a lot of it's just 2D, 2D platformer, and every now and again we'll get something that breaks away from that, like a Mario Kart or Smash Bros, which is a 2D platformer. You just fighting each other in it. Splatoon was a breath of fresh air, and I need to turn that. I ain't played Splatoon in a long time. I might come back in that. What else? So Nintendo, I don't think third party is as. I think Nintendo fans want third parties for the luxury of third party. The fact that we can say we have all these great IPs from Nintendo first party and second party, then we have the luxury of having third party as well. Whereas Microsoft and Sony, the luxury is the first party and the necessity is the third party. So like third party is necessity for Microsoft and Sony, and then the first party offerings is the luxury, is the icing on top of the necessary cake. Whereas when Nintendo, the cake is first party and the icing is first party, and then the Kool-Aid that you get to drink with the cake is third party. So but I feel like Nintendo needs to expand in the genres and the offerings that they're giving you so you can experience that greatness, but it's scratching a different itch. Like, I'm really tired of the platformer it's been scratching. Nintendo is oversaturating itself with platformers. Like, they just really need, and I'm not saying they're not unique. I haven't played the Yoshi game yet. And I heard D2K was talking about how detailed it is. Like when Yoshi walks on the cushions or the pillows or the yarn, it leaves its imprint in there, and it's so polished. And so I want to play it, but the experience that I'm getting from it, it might gradually go away from what Mario U does or what Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze does. But at the end of the day, I'm still playing a 2D platform. You know what I'm saying? And Nintendo does it the best. And they all borrow similar elements from each other, so you kind of getting that same itch scratch. So that's my problem with Nintendo, and why I want third party there, so that different itches can be scratched. I know that's a cheap, simple way I keep saying itch, but that is I'm just trying to make sure they understand what I'm saying. Like, I get different genres, different experiences, different joys from the third party offerings that, especially with the Wii U, we just didn't get. I feel like if Zelda Breath of the Wild was there, if we got a Metroid Prime, if we got almost like what like N64 was or like GameCube was, Nintendo was scratching multiple itches. Like, it was giving you everything on them platforms, even though they didn't have a lot of third-party offerings. Nintendo themselves supplied you with enough variety that you didn't notice that there wasn't a lot of third-party there, even though it was a lot of third-party there. Because, you know, Big was my thing back then, man. I don't know how you are with Def Jam Vendetta and Def Jam Fight for New York. Them was my games, bro. And but they was giving me so much variety, even from Nintendo first party, that I didn't care that I wasn't getting all the third-party offerings. But now with the Wii U, it's noticed because Nintendo ain't giving you variety with the amount of quantity titles that they're putting out. It's all similar experiences. And that's what make it so noticeable when a game from EA or Ubisoft or Activision or whoever else doesn't come to the Nintendo platform is noticed now, because Nintendo has no counterpart that you can play that give you that similar experience. What you think about that? I know I went on a good long soliloquy, but
No, well, I don't think it'd be fun if I didn't play devil's advocate. On the flip side of that, although the Wii U did have a lot of platformers, they were kind of spaced out. You had the new Super Mario Brothers U early on, and then Donkey Kong came out maybe like a year or two later.
Yeah.
Yoshi Woolly World, what came out last year.
So it was 2 years spread. Well, a year and a half spread between the two, three.
So they were spread out pretty good. But
Right.
I think back in the day, I mean, you brought up a whole bunch of good points about the N64, the GameCube. They had help from Rare.
Yeah.
Going back to SNES, they had a lot of help back in the day. Well, let's not even count the SNES. That's just the king. Let's not even count that. But
I will go somewhere with that when you get done saying what you said, because I think you make a good. You bringing up the SNES, and it is. I think. Anyway, go on, finish what you're saying. We'll go there. Okay. Go ahead.
But yeah, they had a lot of help. I just think I think everybody in the industry, and when you said Splatoon, I started laughing because I was like, man, I need to play that too. But we see with Splatoon what Nintendo can do if they try to do something different. And I think everybody in the industry, not just make a different console. You know, I love the Wii. I personally thought that using the Wii remotes with the first person shooters was genius. The gamepad, not so much. Although it had all the same functions and buttons as a normal controller. But I think the industry is waiting on Nintendo to be innovative with the games and not so much the hardware. Like give us, and you don't even have to go back to your old catalog. You can bring us something brand new, but it's just like, I want to play a Nintendo game that's not the norm, the Mario, the whatever, but something with their brain and something new, or even a take on something that's already out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with Mario Kart, you look at the 200cc and you look at something like a Forza or some of those racing games. You really got to play great in Mario Kart on 200cc. You know what I'm saying?
I can't even play 200cc, man.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like I'm just riding the rails, man.
You really have to have skill, and I think within Nintendo games, they need to push the not just the difficulty, but just I guess you can't say the difficulty, like with Mario 3D World, and this has nothing to do with difficulty, but just in Mario 3D World, there was no online function. Nintendo, you pretty much killed your game. Although it was great, it was wonderful. Me and my wife played it one weekend and we had a great time. But the fact that there was no online, you didn't future-proof your product. And I think within those single products, Nintendo needs to be more innovative within making it last longer and things of that nature.
Yeah, I think Nintendo needs to realize that I think Nintendo has evergreen titles. That's, I would say Star Fox Zero is not an evergreen title. But I feel like Nintendo has evergreen titles to where no matter how often you pick it up, you can enjoy this game over and over and over again. But you do bring up a great point. While their games are future-proof in that aspect, they're not future-proof in other aspects. Like, the reason I haven't been playing Splatoon, I'm going to tell you why. What happened to me was a lot of times with Nintendo, I didn't really have no online friend community. All my games were were singular experiences. The Zeldas, the Metroids, even the Marios, or all the games like that. I think Mario Kart and maybe Smash Bros, which I'm not. I hate to say this, I'm just not a huge Smash Bros fan. I like Smash Bros, but I just don't get it. Give me Street Fighters any day. That's how I say that. Give me Tekken. Give me Dead or Alive. Give me Mortal Kombat any day over Smash. And it's not that I don't like Smash. Smash ain't the type of fighting game that I get into like that. I enjoy it but it's casually. But Splatoon, when I started playing games like The Division online, like I started to really learn the joys that can be had in community-based, hearing your friends telling you, hey, help me over here. Hey, bro, come and get me up over here. Hey, you need some help. And like talking with, like I'm talking to you right now, and we playing the game, and we got two or three other people in that same party, and we on the same team trying to accomplish the same goal. Dude, that got addictive. Yeah. And I went out and bought the earphones, and I went out and bought all the stuff to experience this when I got not random people that I knew, like K-Bun 20. Me and John Shaw jumped on. Me and my boy King Cooper has jumped on, and then a few of his friends, I've been in the party with them. And it just made jumping on Splatoon a chore, because once I would jump back on, all that was gone. And I can see, I think I've seen you on there and other individuals that I know in the community on there. I would say like the Red Knights, the Mizza T's, the Terminator Juices, a lot of cats I see on there. Dr. Trey, I seen him on there one time as I was playing Nintendo Ultra. I was on there with him, but you can't talk to him. You can't hear them laughing. You can't hear them say, I got you, or splat, or, get out of here. And it was a detachment from the fun that I wanted to experience, because I'm up here playing The Division. I'm up here playing online on The Last of Us, and that's the experience I'm having. I'm getting shot, and I'm hearing the laughing and the joking, and these are my friends, and these are people that I call colleagues laughing at me because they got me, or I got them, and they're like, oh, you won't get me next time, or I see you on that bush. And the immersion was just that much better because I can literally hear who I was gaming with. Whereas Splatoon, I know I'm playing with Keith Norris, but I can't talk to him. I can't interact verbally with him. So when I shoot him, I'm laughing, but the only person hear me laughing is me, or my wife upstairs, or my kids, and they're like, what's wrong with you, So it just stopped being as enjoyable. And I found myself gradually not being interested in picking it back up and playing it, even though I love the gameplay a lot more than I would say The Division. I'd love to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, with Splatoon, man, I was I think the last time I played was like probably a few months ago, and I was playing I think is it King of the Hill or some type of version of King of the Hill, and like I couldn't talk to my teammates. I'm like pushing a little button, like come on, like y'all over there trying to splat each other, but we're not making no progress.
Right.
I think whichever one you ride the little thing back and forth trying to see.
Yeah, like the tug of war type of. Yeah. I think it is. I can't. It's been a while since I ain't played Splatoon in about at least 2 months. At least 2 months. So I kind of forgot a lot of the different game modes in there for the multiplayer. So, but I know which one you're talking about.
But yeah. So I'm just looking at my teammates like, man, y'all not even trying. And like, I'm not on that high of a level, and they all like pretty much maxed out. So for them, it's just, whatever. I'm just going to BS my way, but I'm really trying to win so I can get some points so I can level up. And I can't communicate with them, and I don't even really know who I'm playing with. Now, granted, there are, there's workarounds, but who wants to do that?
Yeah, and that's what, like I said, that's what took me out, bro. It was once I experienced it the right way, even though Nintendo's game was great and the gameplay is great and it's tight and it's right, the way they want you to experience multiplayer is just not the same as a game that doesn't even have nowhere near the precision that Nintendo or the quality that Nintendo is giving you. The freedom that they allow you to play it with online is just more that much more enjoyable. And I found myself wanting to jump online with my boys, put my earphones on, you on. We in the lounge talking while the game is being set up and getting your guns and your different weapons set up, and you laugh, and it's like, man, don't be the weakest link this time. That's my boy King Cooper, and already be like, level head down, and that became a saying. Everybody, oh, level head down, got to go pick up level head, and that stuff just got to be, dude, it got to be enjoyable in a way that I remember going back to the Super NES and the NES and the N64 being when we would all be around the TV laughing at each other. Sony and Microsoft is continuing that fun factor while you're in your house by yourself. It feels like you're in a house with a whole bunch of different people. And Nintendo is not giving you that fully. You are playing with different people, but you're not getting the full experience that could be had that online is able to do by putting them in your ear, giving you an opportunity to talk with them, laugh at them. The full experience, it seems like Nintendo only want to give you half of that. And I hope with the Switch and their approach to multiplayer games, I hope that switches with the Switch.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, so
because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I hope they switch it up. Yeah, man, it's a lot of missed opportunities. You was talking about Star Fox, and I'm like, why isn't this online? You know what I'm saying? Once you're done with this game, you're done with it. If you can get through it.
Yeah, like I know I made a lot of people mad, but I got an opportunity to trade in Star Fox, and I got $30 for it. I still got the other game that it was packed in with it sitting over there. I got the box sitting over here on my table, but I actually traded in Star Fox, and I felt bad at first, and then I just thought about it. It wasn't a good game. It was broken. And why keep it when it's unplayed? Like literally some stages. I don't know if you played it, Matt. Did you play it?
I actually signed up. What's that thing? GameFly. I signed up for GameFly.
Oh, okay.
I did a little trial. I was like, man, I want to see what this game about, and I played it for like a day and a half maybe, and I sent it back. I didn't even try to beat it.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. And it ain't just ain't no hate to Nintendo. It's just so unnormal from Nintendo. Dude, there was literally stages that were literally unplayable. You're literally just floating. If it wasn't for the fact that it was made for anybody to beat, you would not pass the stage. Like the controls was just that broken. And I know people say you gotta look, man. It ain't that much learning in the world. Like it was the stage where you're in the Land Rover or the tank or whatever, and you fighting a big worm or centipede or whatever that comes out the ground. Dude, I promise you, I beat the stage only because Nintendo made it to where no matter what, if you keep shooting, you will beat it. I couldn't aim right, no matter if I was aiming some kind of way. The aim and trying to control the ship at the same time, trying to aim with the gamepad and looking at the gamepad, but the gamepad is not keeping your ship, the Land Rover, in the place that it's supposed to be. So as you shooting on the gamepad and aiming, your car is turning a whole different way, and it was just a broken experience because it was asking you to do two different things at the exact same time, and you need both. You need to look at both screens to do it. And after I beat that stage, I was like, okay, hopefully there is no other stages like this, right? And the next stage, it was fine until you got to the boss part, and you was in the full range mode of your ship. But what you needed to do was target certain aspects on this these bums, and it was just broke. And I was like, you know what, man? The graphics was fine. Yeah, they could have been better, but the graphics was fine. I mean, I was enjoying the graphics. I was enjoying listening to the Star Fox and all the different Peppy and all them talking, and Falcon and whoever else, the Frog and all that. And I was enjoying the nostalgia, the fact that they kind of took you back to when you first played Star Fox 64. I was enjoying all of it. The controls were just broken. And I put it down. I had no desire to pick it back up. And I looked at it and I said, you know what? If they're going to give me $30 for this game, I'm taking it and get these $30. And that's what I did. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't miss it. And but so, yeah, they should. If they would have put it online, I don't see how we could have played it good. That's where I said all that to say that. Well,
that's true.
Controls were so broken, I don't think it would have worked online.
It shouldn't have been forced. Like, sometimes just put out the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just just give them the option to use it. Or, man, you know what? I would have rather play with the Wii remote.
That's what it was. Man, look, I know I ain't been on them guys' podcast, and I know they probably don't associate with me much now. But Mr. T made one of the most, to me, I think everything he said was right on the money. He said that Star Fox was made for the Wii remote and nunchuck, and that's what it was made for. But for whatever reason, Nintendo didn't pull it on that system. That's what it feels like. That's what it controls like. Like, this was made to work with the Wii remote and nunchuck. And that second screen experience is what the nunchuck is supposed to be doing. And they tried to attach that to the gamepad screen. And it's just a broken experience. You can't do both at the same time. But if you're doing that with the nunchuck and you aiming with the nunchuck while controlling the vehicle at the same screen, it can work. But so anyway, I was finna bring this up. We actually have been talking way longer than what I thought we would. But you said something about the Super NES, man. I was finna ask you something. We get out of here. We just randomly talking because we ain't got much to talk about. Right. Do you feel like it's fair to look at the Super NES and NES era as if Nintendo, even though Nintendo had the great IPs at that time, do we remember it for what Nintendo put on it, or do we remember those two game platforms for what all the developers, third party and first party, put on?
Who was we?
Like, okay, how old are you?
I am 29.
29. I'm 30. Okay, dang, man, you make me sound like feel like I'm old. I'm 37. So, did you play the Super NES, or did you play the NES, or was you would probably be more Super NES, wouldn't you?
I was supposed to be more Super NES, but I did have an NES and I played it.
Okay.
The Genesis. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I mean is, when you said that you had said something about the Super NES, we can't go there because you almost said it like it was the golden era, right? Yeah. And I was just sitting there when you said that, the thought popped in my head. I remember the Super NES more for what the third party was doing than I do Nintendo. I remember Mario, and I remember Super Mario World on the N60 on the Super NES. I remember Mario 1, 2, and 3 on the NES. But I'm gonna tell you, bro, it was the Double Dragons and the Mega Mans and the all them other Demon Sword and Bad Cops or Bad Boys or something like that game. I remember all those games, Street Fighters and Mortal Kombat and Cruising USA, which was a Nintendo title. Like, a lot of the third party entries is what I remember them platforms more for than Nintendo. I think Nintendo didn't really, like, Nintendo's IPs became more prevalent and more dominant to me on the 64 and beyond. But Super NES and NES, it was just games. It didn't matter. I didn't care who was making the game. I just wanted the game. And so I was wondering, like, are we giving Nintendo too much credit for our enjoyment on those two platforms because there was a lot of third party there that I remember as well.
Are we giving Nintendo too much credit? Man, that's a tough one.
No, I mean not me. What I'm saying is, because I'm thinking about it, they might think blasphemy, but I'm not saying it like that. Nintendo deserves all the credit for those two platforms and the IPs on the platform. What I'm saying is our memory of those two platforms in that time. Do we give Nintendo too much credit as if they were the only thing that made that time so great, or do we remember those times because of everything that was there at that time? Like I'm saying, like a lot of times when I say some of my favorite games from that era, they were not Nintendo first party IPs. Like Mega Man 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Double Dragon Revenge is one of my favorite games of all time. Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. These are all third party titles. These were not Nintendo titles. They were just on Nintendo platforms. And then also you had the Metroids and the Marios and the Mike Tyson Punch Outs. You had all of it there, that utopian experience. It wasn't just Nintendo.
Well, if you go back to something we said earlier in the podcast, and we were talking about Xbox titles not really being that great, it's really the third party. Maybe it's third party all along. Maybe third party is what we really enjoy, the variety of games that we really enjoy. Because you're right, on the Super NES, I can think of a handful of Nintendo titles that I really, really cared about. But then I think about the Mega Man X's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
The NBA Lives and the Maddens and all Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, all those games.
NBA Jam.
NBA Jam.
Yeah, you're right. Them baseball. I mean, it's one baseball game where you can play as females. And my cousins used to play it all the time, and I used to love it. You right on the money, man. It's like a lot of what we remember from that time wasn't really. I'm not saying we don't remember Nintendo and they first party IPs, but we remember Nintendo because it was the platform and that was the platform to own. But the games that we were playing on them, Ninja Gaiden. I remember Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, and I mean, I remember seeing Ryu in the cutscene looking and he turned back and flip into the man, and then you get on the screen and you running and jumping off the wall. Like a lot of my grandest experiences were like Mario wasn't my most popular game on Nintendo at that time. Mario was a fun game, but when I thought about games that I wanted, it wasn't Mario. It was Double Dragon. It was Ninja Gaiden. It was Mega Man. It was those titles, and them was all third party. And
I think those titles are still relevant because they still making them, and they make them relevant. You know what I'm saying? Nobody talks about what's that one PlayStation game, Siphon Filter. Nobody talks about that because Sony don't make it relevant.
Right.
I think that's the reason we still bring up Mario, the Donkey Kongs and stuff like that, because Nintendo still makes them relevant. I'm trying to think back on the Super NES. There was really only Super Mario World, and after that,
as far as Mario, that was the only. Well, was it? Yeah, that was the only for real major Mario title.
In the major Mario title, yeah. So, that's right, man. It's the third party.
Yeah, so you're right, and I think Nintendo first party really started to step out is when third party started to step away. Not to say Nintendo didn't make great first party titles; they always did. They was always quality. But they really started to resonate with us, and this identity that we have now, I think, started with the N64. When third party turned their back, migrated to the Sony PlayStation platform, I think we as Nintendo fans started really idolizing the Marios, the Metroids, the Nintendo IP more with the N64 and beyond, more so than we did on Nintendo and Super NES. Because that's all we had to look forward to because the third-party offerings on those platforms were sparse. So you had to make what Nintendo was making, and Nintendo was making some quality stuff. I mean, to this day, I don't think nothing was more impactful than I would say Wii Sports. But outside of Wii Sports, I don't think no game was more impactful to gaming than Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. Like, those two games was, to me, game changers that we haven't seen a game changer like those two games, I think, since Wii Sports. I think Wii Sports was the last game changer like that we've seen. We've seen other titles improve on what Mario and what Ocarina of Time brought to like action adventure, what Mario brought to the 3D the 3D game where you moving around in 3D space. Other games is graphically have improved and done even better physics, but what Mario did, pound for pound, ain't nothing really touching what Mario 64 did for gaming. And but I think that's when we started to really see Nintendo's greatness as developers were 64 and on. Like that's when it's like, dude, these boys bad. They really know what they doing. But Super NES, yeah, they were. But Super NES, NES, we were just enjoying gaming. Then Maverick came from Nintendo. I would say we would have chose Capcom and Konami and all these other companies over Nintendo at that time. As far as they games, I don't think Mario was as popular. Only reason Mario was popular because it was Nintendo's franchise game, but it was Nintendo's personal IP that they was pushing a mascot. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, I wasn't choosing Mario over Ninja Gaiden. I wasn't choosing Mario over Double Dragon or Ninja Turtles or Ninja Turtles the arcade version or Ninja Turtles. Those was the games I wanted. You know, so
my favorite back in the day was the Mega Man games.
Yeah.
On the NES, it was Mega Man 2. For some
It
reason,
was Mega Man 2. I never really played Mega Man 1. Mega Man 2 was when I got to the air, when you get to the two stages that sent chills down my back, I remember it, was getting to Heat Man stage and the music and getting to when you play Airman stage. Like to this day, I mean, we even know that music like it's burnt into our psyche. It's crazy.
I mean, we was younger then too, so we was, I remember I used to just try games. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna put it in the system. I have it. I'm gonna see what this is. And we didn't even mention Sega. Sega was right there too.
Oh yeah.
Did you had a Genesis?
I never owned. I'll be honest. I never owned a Genesis, but I had family members who did, and that's when I had the whole. I didn't have one, so I had to act like I didn't like it attitude. So I actually love the Genesis, like Eternal Champions. I love that game. I love Sonic 2. The second stage of Sonic 2 when you in the I don't think it was Metro City or Metropolis City or something like that. The music, I thought Sonic was cooler than Mario. I just wouldn't say it, and because I knew my pops he brought us Nintendo platforms, but my cousins they departed. They went from the Nintendo to the Genesis, and I went from the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo. And I did for a season think the Genesis was just better than the Super Nintendo, but I mean, then the Nintendo, and then I thought the Genesis had cooler games. The same problem Nintendo has had since Sega came in was Sega seemed like they was more about the cool kids, and Nintendo seemed to be more colorful and happy. And the cool aspect of Sega really appealed to me as a kid. And I knew I wasn't gonna get one, so I masked it and act like I didn't like it. But the Dreamcast was when my first Sega platform was the Dreamcast, and I'll be honest, the Dreamcast is my second favorite platform of all time. The N64 Dreamcast. Then I would say GameCube. It's a toss up between the GameCube and Super NES. They can go any order. Then the NES, then the Wii. If I add in Sony and Microsoft, it'd go, well, I'll do this for you guys. Y'all put me on the spot. But it would go N64, Dreamcast, GameCube, PlayStation 3, Well, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. No, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. Then it would go. I like the PlayStation 4, bro. PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Well, I'll throw. Oh man, I'm messing up. Let me do it again. We got time. Let me do it again because I left out Super NES and I knew I got to throw that in there. Okay, so it go N64, Dreamcast, doggone it, PlayStation 3, Super NES, NES, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Wii, Wii U, and I don't count Saturn and all them platforms.
No,
Then Genesis, you could toss Genesis anywhere in there because I didn't own a Genesis, so I can't really count it either because I never owned it. I'm just going off of stuff I own, and that's how I would go. And I know a lot of people like he put the Wii and the Wii U. Yeah, I like the Wii, but I'm not gonna sit up here and act like it was better than the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox. I like the controls, but the games and stuff that was there, I like a lot of the games on them platforms better. But the platform itself, I just really didn't. The Wii wasn't what I cared for. I kind of lost. Kind of lost my luster with Nintendo with the Wii, the whole Wii experience. I'll be honest. So
Wii U out sooner.
Yeah, so I like Nintendo IPs, and so it ain't the platform that kept me coming back. It was the games that Nintendo was making, and I can't get that nowhere else. But the platform and the experience, the full experience, I would say the Wii U. As far as the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, and the Wii U, it really don't matter between them three to me. Like I think I had better experiences on the Wii U than the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. But then there's other experiences that I have had on those two platforms that really rivals my happiness with the Wii U. I can't lie. Like, even though the division isn't better than a lot of the games that I played on the Wii U, what I can do with the division as far as playing with other people, I had more fun doing that than playing other games on the Wii U. So I don't know. That might change after I listen to this podcast. I might bring this back up and have a whole different list. What would be your list, man? I talked all that time. What would be your list?
I don't really want to give myself a list, but for me, I'm gonna do it this way. For me, my favorite Nintendo console is GameCube. I like the controller. I like the fact that Nintendo had the power, and since I was such a Nintendo fanboy at that time, I could throw shots. Yeah, my game a little better than your game. You finally got Resident Evil 4, but it's better on the GameCube. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
As far as like,
definitely, yeah, it's way better on the GameCube than the PlayStation 2.
But as far as like the PlayStation and Xbox, I didn't get a PlayStation until the PlayStation 3. I never had the PlayStation 1. I played it. My friend had one, experienced it. I had a lot of experience with the PlayStation 2, never owned one, but I didn't get one until the PlayStation 3. So by default, that would be my favorite PlayStation console. And then Xbox, I didn't get one to the Xbox 360. And that was only because my friend had an extra one. I guess you can call me an old Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox hater. I was true. No, I remember, and not just to throw away the list because I'm gonna give you my list, but not to get rid of that. But when I got that PlayStation 3, I was like, man, this really is that generation. I was like, this really is the best console this generation. I've been missing out.
Mm-hmm.
Just sticking with the Wii and
you talking about the PlayStation 3?
Yeah.
A lot of people did, man. PlayStation 3 was a dope platform.
It was dope. I remember I didn't get it until I heard The Last of Us was coming out. That's how late I was.
Oh, yeah, you were super late.
Yeah, and I got The Last of Us, and I was like, man, I need to go back and play some of these games. Okay, my list. All right. GameCube, number one.
Okay.
I think GameCube is that console. It was just so underrated. I would have to put the PlayStation 3 right under it.
Okay.
Then after that, I would definitely have to put the Super NES. Well, dang, Super NES, Super NES. I didn't really become a hardcore video game fan until the N64 though. When I mean like looking at magazines and stuff like that. Super NES, I was just playing games. Like you said, I was just playing games and enjoying
We just
myself.
all playing games. We didn't really didn't care. It's just
Didn't care
games.
at all.
That's game.
But until the N64, it's like, man, I want to know what's coming out before. I didn't really care that much back then, but so I would say the N64, then Super NES. Then I would put the Xbox 360 in there. I had a little experience with the Dreamcast, but not much.
I remember Dreamcast, bro. You missed out if you didn't play the Dreamcast.
No, I played it.
Oh, okay.
I remember playing what was that game? Power Stone.
Yeah, that was Smash Bros. That was like a Smash Bros. In 3D in a 3D environment.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it right there. What did I say? That Super.
You said GameCube, PlayStation 3, Super NES,
no,
N64.
64, then Super NES, then 360.
Okay. Then PlayStation.
Well, then again, I did love the Wii. I gotta bump some stuff down.
So that's why I said I might have to come back to that list at that because I feel like I put the Wii too low. Like the Wii U, the Wii U, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, they all at the bottom of the list. I feel like I didn't give the Wii a proper placing because I did enjoy the Wii. But the Wii U, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, all at the bottom of the list. But my favorite, if I just going off memory, my favorite time was the N64. It was the N64. Then I would jump to the Dreamcast. Then I'd come back to the GameCube, and then I guess I would go Super NES after that, PlayStation 3, NES, then Wii. Then I go Xbox 360. Then they go Wii U, because I had a PlayStation 2. I think PlayStation 2 was overrated. I'm just gonna be honest with you. PlayStation 2 was overrated to me.
I agree.
Maybe I came in too late, but that was doing the GameCube, and that was doing my GameCube Dreamcast era, and the PlayStation just did not measure up to me. I did like Tekken Tag though, but I would go from there. I would say Wii U, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Out of all the machines I never owned. That'll be my list, my order, my right order. Redoing it. So, but yeah, I think that. So you say the GameCube was a dope platform though. So what was your favorite game on GameCube?
You know what's funny? I downloaded that Dolphin emulator. I don't know if anybody knows anything about that, but it's like you can download. Yeah. Okay. And I'm sitting there looking at all these games, and I'm like, I don't want to download that. I don't want to download that. And that's weird because I remember it so well, and I remember having so much fun with it. But it was like all these games I didn't want to download, which is weird. Like I don't even want to play that again. But I think at the time, I think my favorite game was Zelda Wind Waker. No, I take that back. I'm sorry, Metroid Prime. I remember that first time I bought the game. And I also bought me a little orange controller to go with her suit.
Mm.
And I remember just sitting in the back room at the house that we stayed at the time, and I would just, man, I was lost in that game. So I would say Metroid Prime.
I would say my favorite game on the GameCube, my favorite game, I would have to say Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
If I just go off of just the full experience, and then I would come back to it would probably go Metroid Prime. Then it would go all the Dead or Alive. I mean all the Def Jam Vendettas. Def Jam Vendetta, the first Def Jam, it would be that game. Then it'll be Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, that's dope.
Trying to think of all the games I had on the on the GameCube.
You
Of
got
course,
to
Wind Waker. Wind Waker was dope. Wind Waker was real dope. But I think I enjoyed Wind Waker on the Wii U more than I did on the GameCube.
I agree. I did.
It was, I don't know what it was, but I don't remember it as being as fun as I had playing it. It was literally, even though I played the game and knew what I was doing, I had way more fun on the game on the Wii U. That shocked me. But what else?
Because it was 1080p.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. What else? Yeah, it wasn't a lot of games that I got on the GameCube, but for the most part, yeah. Resident Evil 4 was my game on the GameCube.
I think after Metroid Prime, I would have to say Sunshine. I don't know. I
didn't like Sunshine.
What?
I was playing. Go ahead. I explain myself. I try to justify my feelings.
I remember when it first came out, I and all my friends, it was like, man, what is this water pack on Mario's back? Like, this is stupid. This is not Mario 128 that we wanted. You know what I'm saying? We wanted updated Mario 64. But the more and more I played it, the town, and I forgot what the people were called, with the little fruit and all that other stuff, and then having Yoshi. I just think it was a complete game. And then it was just enough innovation to change from Mario 64 to justify it and make it different. Kind of like with the Galaxies. You know what I mean? It was just enough innovation within the game without having to change the whole system. Hint, wink, wink. Hint, hint, Nintendo.
No, I'm ready. It was something. I had to stop ringing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I think it was just enough innovation within that game to make it fun. And I think it's really underrated. I think Nintendo should revisit that. What was that town? What was that place called?
The Delfino.
Delfino. I think Nintendo should revisit it. Maybe not with a Mario Sunshine 2, but just something in the future.
Well, I think that's kind of what we've seen in the Switch commercial was a return to a kind of morphing of all the Mario 3D type titles into one title. Like I saw elements of Sunshine, Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, and Mario 3D World in that Switch title. Like the CD feel of Sunshine was definitely there because we haven't seen cities outside of the Sunshine game. We haven't seen cities, and it kind of play into a video I made that I feel like Mario is finna be going to where you can go talk to people. You can literally go into stores and buy items. Had to have currency. And when I saw the Switch commercial, I put that up about Mario. When I saw the Switch commercial, and I saw the Mario in there, it kind of confirmed my feelings about it. Like the fact that some of the videos I watched that did breakdowns is Mario hat does unique things that they noticed in the hat, like the physics in the hat and the store. And they said they kind of think that some of the items in the video was currency based, like the purple chips. They think that that's currency based. And then you look at the wall and it had a door to a store, and it looked like you could actually go into that store. So I'm thinking Mario's going to be more sunshine-ish with a lot of 64 elements to it. My problem with Sunshine was it felt like Sunshine wasn't finished. Like it didn't have the typical traditional expected polish that Nintendo normally came with when it comes to Mario games. Like a lot of the stages just didn't feel finished or complete. I felt like the antagonist was kind of rushed and tacked on. It wasn't like the last boss. Like it just didn't feel like Nintendo really thought the game all the way through. Was kind of rushed out and thrown on the platform. That's kind of what it felt like to me. That Sunshine was rushed. But and I think that was the opinion of a lot of reviewers at the time, that they felt like Sunshine was a rushed product. It wasn't supposed to come out when it did. But
water physics though.
Oh yeah, the water physics was dope. The water physics was dope. But yeah, that's my feelings on that, man. But this is what we gonna do. I feel like we we actually had a pretty decent podcast. But this is Keith Norris. You will hear his voice when he's available, probably way more frequently. He didn't know, I've been watching him for a while, filling him out just through the comment section, filling out his character, filling out his vibe and how he flowed. I noticed that he was kind of clean cut with his words and how he responded. Never saw anything that I felt wouldn't fit on this show. Because our most edgiest person on the show is John Shaw, and he even tempered himself. he tempers himself for me. That is not the Shaw that you would get if it wasn't for your boy Levelhead and him respecting who I am and what I'm trying to do on this podcast. So he kind of tempers himself, and language that he would typically use, he doesn't use. And so he does that for me, and I respect him for that. But I try to screen who I bring on, but I've been watching you for a while, man, and I think I want to continue to have you on more regular. So you'll be getting shot invites probably every Thursday if you're available.
Well, I appreciate it. I would say this is my very first podcast. I don't think anybody's ever heard my voice on anything. So, like I said, I appreciate it. I definitely want to come back. Definitely want to get more comfortable and actually get with the other guys too and talk. 'Cause like you said, John Shaw be bringing the points. D2K be bringing that knowledge.
Yeah, D2K be on it, man.
So I can't wait to talk to those guys too. So
okay,
it was fun.
All right, well, this has been the Live and Level Gamers podcast. That's one of my tracks right there. We're about to get out of here, folks. Make sure you share this with your friends. Like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comments down in the comment section. Let Keith know how he did. Make sure you go and hit up D2K and John Shaw and K-Bump20 and Jedi Knight and say, where were y'all at tonight? Anyway, this was the Live and Level Gamers podcast, episode 90. The Trump heard round the world. Anyway, till next time, folks. Deuces.